Hey guys, I wanted to do a video just giving some advice to people who are newer to jiu-jitsu. Learning in the beginning can come with a lot of frustration and difficulties. So since I've been training 18 years, I wanted to share some training tips that I think would help speed up the process and save you guys a lot of difficulty along the way. So the first big thing is don't focus on winning, focus on understanding. If you try to gauge your success in jiu-jitsu based off of how you do in each day-to-day training, you're gonna have a lot of difficulty, right? There's so much random variance in how you do in the beginning with just natural talent, natural base, strength, flexibility, that it can be very, very hard when you're learning because you're going to come in one day and you'll have a good day and you'll come in another day and you'll have a bad day. And if you measure your progress or how well you're doing by how you perform in over one day or a few days, you're always going to have hard times, right? So the best mindset to have when you're developing is to focus on understanding, focus on what you're learning. In the beginning, even if someone's way better than you after they've been training a few months, it has nothing to do with because they worked harder than you or they're more technical or they understand better. It's usually just natural instinct, right? So try to just forget about your progress in the day to day when you start and focus on understanding. If you do that long enough, eventually you're going to get to a point where the people who are just relying on instincts and stuff get phased out. If you can switch your focus from focusing on winning day to day and focusing on learning instead, you're always going to have progress. If you define whether or not it was a good day by whether or not you beat someone or didn't beat someone, you're just going to have up and down days. You're going to have days where you didn't sleep well or that guy felt better and you're going to lose. And you're always going to have this stress and anxiety before you go to the gym because you're expecting a good performance, right? Whereas if you switch your focus when you go into learning so that even if you got armbarred, you learned, oh, I can get armbarred that way. You're always focused on learning. You're always going to have a good day because you're always going to learn. Even if you get your ass kicked the whole class, you will have learned. So making that subtle mental shift will really change your relationship with how you view going to the gym. And again, try to remember that your performance in the beginning has very little to do with how technical you are, or how much harder someone else worked. It's just random. Like some people have natural balance. I never had natural balance when I started jiu-jitsu, but I had pretty natural recomposing. Other people are the other way around. They have good natural balance, but they have no recomposing, right? And a lot of that, it's not up to you. It's just random chance. But if you commit yourself to technique and understanding over a period of time, you will become very good at everything, but you have to be patient, focus on understanding, and stop getting caught up in the day-to-day grind and performance. Another major thing is stop trying to see jiu-jitsu as a whole and try to break it down by parts. What I mean by that is often people are looking for these like broad ideas or trends, like always have your elbows tight or always have posture and things like that. People are looking for like quick answers or quick concepts that'll kind of solve all of their problems. The reality is jiu-jitsu is very, very complicated. It's very difficult. An analogy I would give is it's like trying to learn to conduct an orchestra without understanding how each instrument works, right? So positions are like instruments and your jiu-jitsu as a whole is like an orchestra. In the beginning, you want to focus on understanding positions like triangle choke, like start in the triangle choke, specific spar from there, learn how to finish it, triangle choke, arm bar, mount escape, those things. If you focus on learning to do each of those things well and specific training in those positions, researching videos on how to learn those positions, then eventually, as you know enough positions, you're going to know what to do everywhere. But if you're trying to look for these broad trends or these broad patterns that are going to connect everything and make everything make sense, that's not how it works. I've been training 18 years and there is less in common about escaping the mount and completing a triangle choke than there is between rugby and football. It's just completely different sports. So again, just try to remember that analogy of like the orchestra and the symphony. Your job in the beginning is to learn how each instrument works. Learn how each position works. A few things I would recommend focusing on in the beginning would be triangle choke finish, armbar finish, basic guard retention. For open guard, I would focus on collar sleeve, double sleeve, de la hiva. I have brief overview videos that cover all those. I can put those here. But focusing by position gives you a very manageable task, right? Like you can go in one day or a week or two and you could just focus on double sleeve. There's so much content online now that you can learn from that you can pull from that stuff in specific spar with a partner and develop those skill sets. Once you get good at collar sleeve, you get good at double sleeve, you get good at guard retention, you learn how to do a triangle choke finish, you learn how to do an armbar finish. Eventually you'll have so many skills that when you're in a regular match, you'll always kind of see those things popping up to you, right? The difference between like a world-class black belt belt and a white belt, it's the same process when we roll, right? It's that I just roll and I just take what comes to me. But the difference is that my base understanding, because I've spent so much time in so many different positions, is that things just become obvious to me. So someone puts a hand forward and I see I can grab a sleeve and do collar sleeve. But really when I'm rolling, I'm just responding with what I know, right? And it's the same thing for a person who's a white belt or a blue belt. They're just responding with what they know. And it's just that what they know isn't as much yet because they don't have the time. So rather than focusing on trying to win the match as a whole, try to spend a lot of time doing specific sparring, developing these individual positions, and you'll see that carry over into your regular matches as you develop understanding in more and more positions. Another really important thing is early on, try to find a partner that you can build with. This is such a huge thing. If you train at the gym and you go to class and you learn the techniques, you're going to do good with that. But you really need time on the side to develop on your problems. That may be before class. If you're at a gym that's more open, maybe they give you time for that. It may be that you go to a friend's house, you go to an open mat, but you need time to be able to sit there and work on things that you don't understand, because we all are going to mess techniques up differently. Some people, they try a triangle choke and the first time it just kind of makes sense to them and they get it. Other people, it may take them weeks to figure it out, and you have to go at your own pace. You can't force understanding. So you need to find someone that you can routinely meet up with before class, after class, open mat, whenever, and really build that relationship. Everyone I've seen who's gotten really good at jiu-jitsu fast, they always did a lot of out of class work. So make sure that if you don't know who that person is, talk around class, ask people if they want to drill afterwards, and build those relationships, because if you build those early, the effect that's going to have over years of training, of getting 1 or 2 little private sessions a week working with someone on the side, it's going to make you fix all the problems in your game. That might be one of the most important things to develop in jiu-jitsu, is developing a good side training partner. So make sure you look for that person. So once you find a good side training partner, the next thing is really try to utilize online instruction. That's something that wasn't around as much when I started. I really had to go get the old VHS tapes and watch like competition footage. But nowadays there's so much instructionals online. There's a lot of really good instructionals. There's a lot of competition footage. If you're focusing on developing positions like a triangle choke or collar sleeve, there's so many instructionals out there on it. And there's also competition footage. Learning from competition footage is a huge thing. If you're training in the gym and there's a position that you're working, you're having a hard time in it, like double sleeve or closed guard or collar sleeve, and you can find competition footage of a high level competitor in that same position, you can watch clips from that section of the match and see what they're doing, see where they're putting their hands, see if they have the same problems you do and how they handle it. That can massively speed up the process. People have been training this sport for 25, 30 years or even more, right? So if you're new to the sport and you're having a hard time in a position, there's no sense in reinventing the wheel. Watching competition footage, watching instructionals is going to save you a massive amount of time and being able to fix patterns. So in short, mix up the specific sparring, find a training partner to work with, and watch a lot of competition footage. If you guys have any more training questions, please comment and let me know. I'm going to do more videos like this where I go in depth on kind of training concepts and training advice. Also, guys, be sure to click the bell button. I do a lot more live streams now, so if you want to get a notification before I do the next one, because I do them kind of randomly, click the bell button and you'll get a notification right when I'm going live. I often have a partner with me so I can troubleshoot some of your guys' problems live. Thanks.